Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I'm here to tell you about an awesome way for you to rub elbows with your favorite podcast hosts here on the Sports History Network, while at the same time rooting for your hometown team this upcoming NFL season. You've been hearing all about our partner, Tailgate Fantasy, the past few weeks. Well, dig on this. Tailgate created a special Sports History Network league for our listeners, so we can put the word fan back into fantasy football together. It's free to join, and if you do so before the season kicks off, you'll automatically be entered into a drawing for a free t-shirt from one of our other partners, Home Field Apparel. It's a win-win-win! So hurry up today and head to sportshistorynetwork.com/tailgate for all the details. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/tailgate.
Blog Talk Radio.
Tonight we will go back in time to seasons past, when 22 men graced the rugged fields of yesterday, fighting for one more first down, one more yard gain, one final score which would bring victory after 60 minutes of battle on the gridiron. Tonight we'll explore the world of Gridiron Greats. Welcome to Gridiron Greats Football History and its Memorabilia on the Gridiron Greats Publishing and Broadcasting Network in conjunction with Swick Enterprises. We're live in a special afternoon edition from the National Sports Collectors Convention here at Rosemont, Illinois. I'm Bob Swick, publisher and editor of Gridiron Greats Magazine, and I'll be your host for this special show. Gridiron Greats is the only publication in America which focuses upon the history and memorabilia of the North American football game since its inception in 1869. We cover 140-plus years of football history and memorabilia. And you can find us on the web at gridirongreatsmagazine.com. And this special edition of Gridiron Greats Magazine, the podcast, is brought to you by MSB Sports Cards. Check out their website for one of the largest selections of football cards and football memorabilia on the web at msbsportscards.com. And also sponsored in part by BST Auctions. Check out their website at bstauctions.com. Now, since this is a special show from the National Sports Collectors Convention here in Rosemont, Illinois, I will be doing the show by myself, live from our tables here at the National. For those individuals who are listening to the podcast or here at the National, we're set up at tables 412 and 414. And we are here with MSB Sports Cards, BST Auctions, and Josh Adams Sports Cards. It's a very interesting show getting started. As the general audience will start coming into the show beginning at 4 o'clock. The show is only open to 8 o'clock this evening. Many individuals are starting to make their way to the lobby to try to get in, waiting in line for the 4 o'clock entry here at the show. And what a show it is, the largest collection of sports memorabilia in the country once a year. This year in Rosemont, Illinois. Last year was in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This year we have a packed house. Every table is filled with dealers with a wide variety of different types of sports cards, memorabilia, publications, and the like. And even at our table here, we have a lot of different items available. I know I have a lot of back issues and the current issue of Gridiron Greats Magazine. And as I offered today, as I tweeted today, I stated first 5 new subscribers this evening who will subscribe to Gridiron Greats Magazine and get a free T-shirt. I also have a large selection of football magazines and publications available for sale also. I've been able to speak to several of the icons of the football memorabilia card hobby today. I was fortunate to speak at length with Mike Blaisdell. Mike, whose collection, a good part of it, has been going up for auction through BST Auctions. Talked about some of the different changes we've seen in the hobby over the years and how the hobby has evolved over the years, and seeing what we see today at the National, seeing everything from early 1900, late 1800 football items to the current modern day card issues that are available that the younger collectors enjoy collect. I've also been able to talk to at length co-owners of MSB Sports Cards and BSD Auctions, Andy Becker and John Spano, who are here at the show. Talked about, again, the state of the hobby, what we see. The hobby is very vibrant. There's a lot of interest in vintage cards, vintage publications. Continue to see that. Again, being a very, very strong part of the hobby. One thing I've always pointed out to collectors, especially to those individuals who are deep in football card and memorabilia collecting, is that there are much fewer football games that have been played over the years as compared to the other sports. So therefore, the number of ticket stubs, the number of programs, the number of items that are generated from an actual game become less and less. And as time goes on, those items become more and more rare in my opinion. I had seen here today, however, a great selection of 1930s NFL football programs and very, very interesting older college football programs from the 1910s, 1920s, and the 1930s. I'm also seeing, and I have seen throughout the show today, having the ability to walk around, a great deal of vintage football pennants, especially the felt pennants, 40s and 50s. Truly very interesting, truly very, very interesting view of the evolution of the pennant, as I've seen very, very old pennants to very, very new pennants at the same time. I've also visited today and talked to hobby icon Carl Amendola. Carl, who continues to look at and continues to try to find a handful of items for his collection, has been very, very impressed with what he has seen on the floor today as far as items that are available here at the National. Now, as a reminder, if you are planning to come out to the National, it will be open through this Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday after today, you got 4 more days of being able to come around, walk around, and view the different items and memorabilia that is available for sale here. I also was able to talk to and view some incredible pieces of the older football game, the vintage game, through Keith Javik, who is an advertiser here and Gridiron Greats Magazine, and he has his booth set up with a lot of very, 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 very interesting older footballs, football helmets, and pieces of football equipment in his booth and the items themselves and has sold over the years. Very, very interesting pieces, to say the least. Now, many people have asked me over the years, too, is it worth going to a show of this size, or am I going to be overwhelmed when I go to the show? Is it going to be too much to try to cover in a day or two? How much money should I bring? The list of questions sometimes seem endless. But again, in pointing out, in going to a show like this, my best suggestion I have for you: bring your want list. Focus on several items that you are very, very interested in picking up, especially the hard-to-get items, to say the least. And I think you would have a great opportunity, a great ability to try to find them here at the show. And in doing so, cross off some big items off of your want list while you're here. A couple other items to look at here at the show. I was very, very impressed with seeing some oddball football cards that I have not seen in quite a while at a national show, including a lot of the early 1960s Topps football inserts, including the very, very difficult 1964 pennants, which were the inserts in the 1964 Topps American Football League wax pack. I have also seen quite a few of the 1962 Topps Bucks those bucks were inserted in the 1962 Topps wax packs. And I also did see a great deal of 1961 clock stickers, more so than I've seen in past years with regards to their availability. So if you're working on any of those three sets, as far as I'm concerned, I think you have a good opportunity to find those cards, those stickers and inserts that you're looking for, and as such, you'll be able to hopefully either complete your set or knock a few of those wants off your lot list. The other item that I saw, and those people who know me know, I have collected over the years at great length, the different sticker inserts for the Flair in Action and the Flair Hall of Fame card sets. And I was very interested in seeing earlier today, Tree Dealers actually had a very, very large selection of both the 72-73 and the 73-74 and the 74-75 sticker inserts that were in the Hall of Fame Flair sets. And in looking at those stickers, those were the stickers where they would have two different teams. They would have a team name along with either a team logo and team helmet. And there were different varieties, different combinations to try to complete to make the set. And in doing so, those were definitely difficult sticker insert sets to collect. I know for myself, I'm still looking for a handful of those particular stickers from my collection. I did not have any luck, unfortunately, with the three dealers that I did see the stickers from or who had them. And those are also known as the Flair cloth patches. And they wore the inserts in both the 1974 and 1975 Flair Hall of Fame card sets. And what was interesting at that time, and I do remember buying several of those wax packs back in 74 and 1975, I did save what I had. However, I was not putting that set together for a long period of time. As years went on, probably in the mid-'80s, I started collecting that set and trying to put it together. And I'm still, believe it or not, down to 2 or 3 more stickers that I need to finish those sets. I did discuss in the current issue of Gridiron Greats Magazine that I was down to needing only a handful of stickers for the 1979 Flair Master set. Unfortunately, I have not seen any of those particular stickers here at the show today. And I'm just amazed when I go to a show like this, and as much as I'm trying to find different items and different inserts and the like, they just don't seem to be available. But to me, that's half the fun of the hunt on these particular items at any type of show that I attend, and in particular the National Sports Collectors Convention. And again, I'd like to remind anyone who's listening right now, this is a special half-hour edition of the National Sports Collectors Convention here in Rosemont, Illinois. Brenda and I got into the flew into Chicago yesterday and basically settled in, and then came down here this morning to set up the tables. And I've been here since 8:30 this morning. Brenda was here for a few hours this morning. She's off, and she'll be joining me later this afternoon. And again, the special edition of Gridiron Greats, the podcast, is brought to you by MSB Sports Cards. Check out their website, msbsportscards.com. And by BST Auctions. Check out their website, bstauctions.com. And also, as a reminder, BST Auctions is accepting consignments for their next auction. So you can see either John or Andy today here or through the convention at tables 412 and 414. I'll be glad to discuss the items you'd like to consign and help you with the paperwork needed for that. Again, we're at the National Sports Collectors Convention in Rosemont, Illinois. I was talking to a couple of dealers who do have a hike coming into a show like this and what's involved. And I think, and I know for myself, doing shows for many, many years now, I can appreciate any dealer who brings a large quantity of inventory to a show like this. The amount of packing that's involved, the amount of preparation that's involved, the actual travel of getting here, shipping the items out, driving the items out, so on and so forth, and then getting here, unloading everything, unpacking everything, and then setting up and being prepared for 5 days of sales. It's a lot of work, and I truly hope the collectors who are out there and individuals who shop at these shows appreciate what goes into setting up a show like this, because there is a lot of work, and especially for dealers, it is also a lot of work to do, and then a great expense at the same time. You know, that's not just table expenses, it's your traveling expenses, staying overnight here, your food, so on and so forth. There's a lot of costs involved in setting up at a show like this. I was also able to briefly talk to Touchdown Treasures Mike Hatley, who has his usual incredible display of football memorabilia items at the show. He set up toward the front of the show an incredible collection available for sale of bobbers, nodding heads, very, very interesting items, very interesting pieces of football memorabilia that he brings to shows, and especially the National, where you can see the bulk of its inventory here available for sale at the same time. An individual I talked to today who hopefully will start off being a collector and a reader of Gridiron Greats Magazine was telling me that he was overwhelmed with what he saw. He was overwhelmed to sheer volume of items that are available for sale, sheer volume of items to choose from. And I told him, pick out the items you really need to see at the same time. You really want to pick up at the same time. And as such, choose your purchases wisely, and you'll be very contented with your purchases at the same time. And I just see Mike Blaisdell's coming back into our booth, and let me see if I can get Mike to say a few words to our audience, if possible. Mike, how are you making out at the show today? Any comments, anything that you've seen of notoriety that our listeners might be interested in looking at?
Thanks, Bob. Once again, a great national here. Probably walked and seen maybe about a quarter of it so far. Once again, a lot of great vintage football here. A lot of display pieces that are very interesting, and lots of vintage football cards. Gotta love it. I look forward to seeing the rest of the show. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Mike. Mike Blaisdell, our well-known senior contributing writer here at Gridiron Greats Magazine, and again, putting out many of his pieces of his collection to auction with BSC auctions over the next couple of years. Very, very interesting items, very one-of-a-kind items, so on and so forth. Another item that I find very interesting, that I find that shows like this, as I briefly mentioned before, were programs. And in particular, there was one dealer who had an enormous amount of college football programs, and they were not just the mainstream, Notre Dame, Army, Navy types of programs. He had a lot of programs from a lot of different colleges, and a lot of colleges from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. And to me, those pieces are exceptionally rare to find in any condition, and I'm always impressed when I get to look at some, get to see a few of them, and to actually view that type of college football history at the same time. So it's something that I truly enjoy looking at, truly enjoy viewing as a historical aspect of the college football game. And while I'm talking about college football, I'm also going to send a shout-out to are the father of college football history and statistics, and that is Tex Noel. Tex is recovering from a stroke he recently had. He's in rehab right now, and from what I understand, last email conversation I had with his wife, he's doing much better. He appreciates all the kind thoughts and prayers that people have been sending him. And shout out to Tex. I hope you get better and can get back to work in the very, very near future. A few more quick hits here. Looking at the show 1960s football, I see an incredible display of 60s football cards from all the different sets. Again, as I briefly mentioned before, the insert sets are available, readily available. You can find them, and anything from 60 to 69 as well, available here, and it can be purchased at a reasonable cost. So if you're working on those sets, you can fill up those sets and finish those sets, I think, with some ease. I was very interested seeing, as far as I got around to looking at, I saw very, very few Team 94 Mayo Cup football cards in any condition. There was only one dealer who had a handful of them, and I did not get a chance because he was busy to look at them more closely. Hopefully later in the show I can go back and take a look and see if there's any I could pick up for my collection. Be able to knock off a few of those cards off of my lot list at the same time. Again, we're broadcasting live from the National Sports Collectors Convention here in Rosemont, Illinois, and a special half-hour edition on the opening day of the National. It's Wednesday, and we are here on the floor at booths 412 and 414. So if you're around, please stop by and say hi. Again, free T-shirts for the first 5 subscribers this evening. New subscribers to Gridiron Greats Magazine. We have show specials on Gridiron Greats subscriptions. We also have a big sale on back issues, all our back issues that we publish, from issue 23 to issue 56. Available here for a special price of $150 at the show. You can fill out the form here at the show, and when we get back home, we'll be putting it together, and we'll ship it out to you as soon as we can. So again, you can get all back issues from issue 23 to issue 56 for $150. And if you're listening and you want this, just drop me a line, either send me an email or send me or leave a voice message for us. We'll take care of that for you too if you're not going to be able to make it to the show. The other area that I enjoy looking at here at a show like this are the older footballs and the older football helmets. And I know football helmet and old football equipment expert Bob Tibby is going to be coming to the show. I believe it's tomorrow. I know he's going to be enjoying looking at a lot of different pieces. I'm sure he'll pick up a few pieces for his own collection here at the same time. But I was definitely impressed with some of the very old footballs that I did see here, and some of them in very, very good condition. I was also impressed with seeing some souvenir balls that teams used to sell in their gift shops back in the 60s that were available for sale here at the same time. I also have seen a couple times, I saw it today at a dealer's booth, is a Billy Cannon poster, which is on cardboard, when he was on the Wilson Advisory Committee promoting Wilson sporting goods footballs in particular, and Wilson football equipment. So it was very, very interesting at the same time to see it. Very nice condition, a nice historical piece of Billy Cannon at the same time. A couple other items of note that I have seen. I have come across some team photos. I saw one dealer who is from Michigan, had an enormous amount of Detroit Lion football team issued team photos from the 50s and 60s. Very, very interesting pieces, very nice edition. Would go well with any football team photo collection anytime. Very interesting pieces at the same time. As many of you know, I do have quite a large team photo collection, and I have basically tried to collect at least one team-issued team photo from all the teams from the 50s up. I have a pretty good start on, and I've enjoyed collecting them. So there's classic football memorabilia, classic football pieces, to say the least. Very enjoyable to look at, and a nice collectible. Again, if you collect one particular team, I've always recommended team photos to be part of your collection, because I believe team photos do add a great deal of the historical perspective of the game for those particular teams, so that I think it'd be very, very nice for your collections at the same time. All right, we're winding down time-wise. Again, this has been a special edition of the Gridiron Greats podcast, and we're live at the National Sports Collectors Convention here in Rosemont, Illinois. And again, we're sponsored in part by NSB Sports Cards. Check out their website, nsbsportscards.com, and by BSD Auctions. Check out their website, bsdauctions.com. But again, if you're interested in signing any items, Andy Becker and John Spano will be here at the show. They will accept your consignments. They'll help you with the paperwork to fill out, and also help you in your consignment period. Another Gridiron Greats advertiser, Love of the Game Auctions, was here. I got to talk to Office Sophie last night. Had a brief chat with him talking about the show. Looking forward to having a very good show here with his consignments and items that are going to be available at his auction also. Again, a theme Midwest, a lot of Chicago Bear collectors, a lot of Green Bay Packer collectors, what we're interested in. Also a lot of collectors of Never Silver Roots being here in Chicago, a lot of Notre Dame and University Michigan and Michigan State collectors at the same time, not walk the floor and look for items here at the same time. A couple other points, as I'm very, very quickly running out of time here. Football helmets, newer football helmets. Helmets from the 60s and the 70s are available, and a handful of jerseys I've seen. I know there are several jersey dealers here with some game-used items, which have been very, very very, very interesting, very historical at the same time. Make nice additions to the collection. Depending on who you collect and all the teams and the like, very, very interesting at the same time. One real quick remark, new cards. There are plenty of them going through and collecting, younger people collecting those newer cards. A lot of game-used cards, so on and so forth. And inevitably, a large amount of box breaking goes on here at the show. They have set up the box breaking areas in a separate section of the show. Very interesting to see the crowds that gather there also, just to try to get special cards. Get those very, very interesting and red hot inserts and or game use cards that seem to hold an incredible amount of value when they first come out, but what I've noticed have gone down in value rather quickly at the same time. All right, we're going to be wrapping it up. We're down to about a minute left in the show. Hopefully this will give those individuals who haven't been able a chance to go to National, give you a flavor of the show, give you a flavor of what's going on here. And again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, MSB Sports Cards and BSD Auctions, for sponsoring the show today. I hopefully will be back either Friday or Saturday for another half hour wrap up from the National and talk a little more about what other items I've seen and found here at the show. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for listening. And again, I'll be back. Our regular shows will resume in August with our guests. Joe Squires will be back at that time. And I'd like to thank everybody for listening. This is Gridiron Greats, football, history, and its memorabilia on the Gridiron Greats Publishing and Broadcasting Network in conjunction with Swick Enterprises. Thanks for listening.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I wanted to thank you for stopping by to listen to another episode here on the Sports History Network. Our podcasters are passionate about uncovering and sharing sports stories from yesteryear. And if you didn't know it already, we have over 30 shows across the network covering all sorts of sports history topics. In fact, here's a glimpse into one of our awesome podcasts here on the network.
Each week, the official Football Learning Academy podcast will take you deep into the history of pro football through interviews with players, coaches, or administrators in the NFL, as well as interviews with Pro Football Hall of Fame selectors, authors, and historians. You'll learn how the game evolved and important moments that shaped the sport into what it is today. And don't miss the Pro Football History Nugget of the Week. Listen to the official Football Learning Academy podcast on the Sports History Network.
How about that? I bet you're super hyped to go listen to that new podcast, right? Well, to learn about this show and all the other podcasts on the network, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Again, that's sportshistorynetwork.com/podcast. Head over there today to find your next favorite sports history podcast.